Hello everyone, my name is Andy Arturo Montalvo. This is my first time ever doing a video like this ever. I mean, I've done different videos, but never where I've sat down in front of a camera and speak in a way where I'm actually talking to someone. In this sense, I'm gonna be talking it directly into the camera, which I'm already seeing a lot of audiences and a lot of people looking. I normally never speak in certain aspects and in certain situations, but for some reason, the beginning of this month, which is the number 7 has also been coming up a lot in my life during this month. If you know exactly what it means, let me know. I have the gist of what it means, but I know for a fact that if you're trying to do something that you're passionate about, go ahead and do it. Don't be scared. Don't be aware of people's opinions, because at the end of the day, it's going to be you, God, and the people around you that love you for who you really are. Don't try to fit in, because that's not the way anymore. The way I see everyone in my day-to-day life, or just in general when I go to the store, I see people's faces and everyone kind of looks sad and anxious all the time. There was a lady that I had saw, she was probably like 65, 70 maybe, but she looked so sad. She looked sad in her face, but she also looked scared, like oh my God, like she looked like that in the face. She wasn't doing that exactly, but it translated in her face. If you're someone who's spiritual and someone who's practicing, self-growth and changing your mind and changing the aspects of how you think of things, you'll start being more aware. You'll start seeing things that normally would go over your head. For example, like this lady, I've started doing a lot of thinking and a lot of reflecting on my past life, and maybe someone, maybe one of you guys had the same similar situation and couldn't get out of it or didn't know how to. At the time, I didn't know how to either. I was drinking a lot. I was drinking so much that I would get violent and I would get mean and I would get nasty. And then I would wake up the next day not knowing what the heck I did, who the heck I hurt, and what the heck I said. So there came a point in my life where I got so messed up on drinking that I lost complete control of my consciousness. I started just not being good around the house, and it caused a lot of turmoil. It caused a lot of anguish and sadness and regret of words that were said. That the sucky part was that I didn't even know I said that, and if you were in that situation that you didn't even know what you said, but what you said had hurt that person, it's not the way to go anymore. So anyways, I saw this lady, right, back to the point where you notice these things. She was just talking by herself, and I had passed by her real quick, and then something told me to go back. And that something was that little voice inside your head where, maybe as a kid, when you were a little kid, you would go and, let's say for example, you wanted a candy or you wanted something, it's like that voice was like, you can grab it, you can like take it, no one's gonna see. That voice right there is your conscious voice, and you have to train that conscious voice to let you know where to go. As a kid, we knew what it felt like to do something wrong without knowing what it was wrong. You know what I mean? It was a human instincts that we had for thousands of years, and we slowly have lost it. I want to talk about that, and I want to go ahead and bring a little bit of, happiness and goodness back together in this broken world. So I had told this old lady, I was like, hey, I approached her, not like quickly, but the way you can also communicate with people where you don't come off as like a weirdo, or like, yo, get away from me, or anyone that you might want to approach and ask. There's always the right way to do it. So for this situation, I had said, excuse me, ma'am, very polite, very I spoke with a tone that was a friendly but assertive voice, where it wasn't like, hey, I need to tell you something, nothing like that. It was like, excuse me, ma'am. Like, I spoke to this old lady like if she was my great grandma. And I had recently had someone very close to me who lost their great grandma, and I had the pleasure of meeting this person, and she was a very, very beautiful soul. She was very kind, very sweet, and one thing that I always remember about her before she passed away is that she loved my last name when I first met her. When I said, hi, my name is Andy Montalvo, and she's like, Montalvo, wow, that's nice. And from there, I was like connected to this person, and she loved art. And sometimes art imitates life, and life imitates art. So I saw her, and I said, can I share something with you, ma'am? And when she said that, she was like, what? Like, so scared. Like, that's what I mean. This world is so broken now that nothing is genuine anymore. And when people talk and when people say things, it loses its meaning because they don't keep it. They don't keep their word. They don't valor their like, they don't have valor about it. They don't have integrity. Nothing is done with honesty anymore. Everything seems like intentions are always hidden now. And it's what saddens everyone every day. So I told this lady, excuse me, I just recently lost a great grandmother, and she was a very beautiful woman, and you reminded me of her. Her face, let me tell you, her face went from this to this. Oh my God. And I was like, yeah, you look so beautiful. And she's like, thank you. I started walking away, and she was still saying thank you. And the darkness that was in her face, it brightened up because she smiled. And every interaction that we have with anyone that we meet, there's always a hidden message. There's always clues about what you're supposed to do next. And that's with any type of conversation that you have with someone, or you see something on television. One thing I do also want to say is that things like this happen to you every day, but we're so fogged out that we don't pay attention to any of it. We're so accustomed and programmed to go to work, to do your chores when you get home, cook, clean, do whatever you need, and then go back to sleep, do it, repeat, and then you wait for the weekend, and then the weekend is the same shit. You go and you do this and you do that with the friends and all this blah blah blah, but nothing else like satisfies the soul. Yes, you can satisfy yourself, and you can say that you have a good time, but that's all carnal. All this is the vessel of the body. So it's like the soul is what needs to be quenched, because everybody needs that. Everybody is how can I say this? Everybody is operating on a low level vibration, low level frequency. Everybody's spirits are low. There's no more morale. The workplace is always heavy with heavy energy, with people not wanting to be there, with people not wanting to help people. And that's what's crazy. Same thing in the healthcare, because that's what I do. I'm in the healthcare, and the quality of care is just gone down from when I first started being a medical assistant at the age of 21. I'm 33 now, and I've just seen time and time again our society declining, our capacity to have compassion and empathy has gone down. Everybody's so judgmental. Everything is so hyper focused and hyperactive, like no one has time to just sit down with yourself. Sometimes God, the universe, the spirit, whatever you may believe in, that's a higher power, will guide you to have moments in your life where you're alone, where you're by yourself. And even if you are with someone, let's say a wife, your spouse, girlfriend, you guys live with each other, but one of you has to go away for like a work trip, or has to visit family, has to do other things outside of the states that you live in. That time, people don't realize that time that God has separated you is for you, the man, to start acting accordingly with what God has told man to be. And that's a protector, that's a provider, someone who's wise, someone who's also compassionate, but also someone who's capable of violence. But that violence is going to be backed by, how would I say it? It's like there's a word for it. I can't think about it right now. But it's a violence that God would use if you ever hurt one of his children. That's how I would kind of describe it. And the women have been programmed nowadays to be independent, and that's great. I don't knock it. But I want to talk about the spiritual aspect of it. The heartache that everyone has. The men have heartache because they can't find a good woman, and then the disappointment of how one man can do so many things and not be enough, and then for the woman to deal with certain men that they meet, and the men just destroys the how can I say, they destroy the expectations of what a man's supposed to be. So right now that is dead. And what we're supposed to do about that now is recognize each and every single one of our flaws, but also all the good things that we carry within each other and within ourselves. Don't keep anything in anymore. The more you practice this, the stronger you'll be aware of certain things that happen. And you'll know, these would be the signs that you'll know. You'll start seeing repetitive numbers. You start seeing repetitive numbers. This is how you know you're starting to elevate. You start speaking to people in a way where they've never heard you, or have never heard someone explain things